Out night 2 of the state championships. Thanks for joining us here in Joel Coliseum with the former Towson coach Derek Jordan. I'm Evan Budrovich. Northern Nash has had a monumental run to this championship. Kings Mountain, the surprise Cinderella of the title. What intrigues you about tonight's matchup?
Well, these are two teams that haven't been here in a long time. Kings Mountain, 36 years since they came, 56 years for Northern Nash. But really today, it's about defense. Northern Nash is going to be smothering on defense. Kings Mountain has been hot shooting the ball, and it's going to see who can come out on top in that matchup.
In terms of our riddle players to watch, Northern Nash has some great guards in this lineup, Derek, and how do they get Christian Barnes involved?
Well, Christian Barnes leads the team in points, steals, assists. He's done it all, and in this playoffs, he's been especially hot. He hit 6 threes against West Johnston. He had 27 against Williams recently in a playoff game. He's going to have to take control for the Knights to have a big win. Meanwhile, with the Kings Mountain Mountaineers, Caleb Nixon missed last season with injury, but he's come back hot, 20 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, and he leads the team in made threes and three-point percentage. He's also going to have to get hot for his team to get the victory.
Riddle and Riddle, when justice counts, are Ingles food for thought. Low prices, love the savings. You mentioned the paint early on.
Yeah, for Northern Nash, their defense has been dynamite with Chris Silver. He is leading the state in blocks, 6.8 blocks a game. He just dominated the regional final and prevented their opponent from doing well. Meanwhile, Kings Mountain, Micaiah Daniel was 10 for 10 inside the paint. He's a little bit of an undersized post, but he's going to have to go against Chris Silver in that paint. Kings Mountain, though, as we talked about, they've got to shoot the lights out. They won 5 games in 9 days. They had great momentum. Now they've had an 8-day layoff, so it'll be how well will they keep the momentum going.
And now the nightcap of day 2 of the championship, the 6A state title here in North Carolina. Northern Nash, Kings Mountain. Fun championship when we come back.
The broadcast stream of these championship games is brought to you by Tip Top Roofing, Faith Family Roofing.
Welcome into Winston-Salem. Here's the Tatum and Atkinson starting 5. Jameer Harris has been special this year. Quante James, a lot of balance in this Northern Nash lineup.
They do. They've got shooters all around and strong defensive presence with Silver underneath.
The Kings Mountain starting 5. Silas Tate has been special. We noted Nixon comes off the bench, and Micaiah Daniel, fantastic in the region final.
He really was. 10 out of 10, 22 points. He led them. And as you mentioned, Nixon comes off the bench, but he's still their leading scorer, so we'll look for him to make an impact as soon as he gets in.
Kings Mountain and Northern Nash looking for premier state titles. 6A, this is the heavy hitter kind of matchup we like. Northern Nash, the Knights start with it. 24-3 during the year, represent Nash County with great pride. In a loaded conference, the Big East 5A Fike, their league rivals, are playing tomorrow night in the 5A championship. And a quick three is airballed. Now transition for Kings Mountain, the 12 seed. Silas Tate runs the point. Nice look down low, but a miss inside for Xavier Hutchins, and the ball stays here.
Could see some jitters early on. It's a big game.
And Coach Henry Drake, 12 years, has been a longtime assistant before that, trying to rebuild this program back to its championship days in the late 60s.
And he talked about some of the members of that team talking to the team before the East Regional Final.
That was at East Carolina, an impressive win over E.E. Smith, the 2 seed. Here's a three, and Daniel with a miss. He did not miss a shot in the region final.
Only 20% from three, so that's not his shot right there.
And he battles Chris Silver, the 7-footer down low. It's a tough matchup. Jameer Harris goes baseline and earns a whistle. Meanwhile, for Coach Andrew Fan, 4 years in, it's been a steady climb. First round exits the last 2 years for Kings Mountain. And now Coach Fan has them rolling with 7 straight.
He had 4 years at East Lincoln, 2 years at Mallard Creek as an assistant. This is his first head job. He's done a great job with the Mountaineers.
Representing Shelby and Cleveland County with so much pride at Kings Mountain. It's a great sports area as well. Here's a drive and an early look inside that bounces out. That save goes risky, and Kings Mountain comes out with it. Here's Ethan Daniel. Daniel, little step through, lays it in.
Excellent job beating the Knights down the court, not letting them get into that swarming defense.
Kings Mountain started the year 1-3. They've been resilient to get to this final. As in 12 seed, 4 straight upsets, all on the road. Their home arena was renovated this season. They had to play at the middle school all year. Here's Silver. Nice look down low, and he responds.
The 7-footer, you can see his length there. It's going to be a difficult matchup for the Mountaineers underneath.
And the pressure of Northern Nash. They'll force double-figure turnovers. Nice press break to Daniel, and he's swatted by Silver. Second ball, no good. And the jump ball keeps possession here. The impact of Silver is going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely. 6.8 blocks a game. That's just an incredible number, and he shows it right there early in the first quarter.
Leads the state in blocks per game. He's a big-time presence as a senior. Now some defensive pressure. This will be another jump ball. So it goes back to the Knights, and that physicality here for 2 minutes.
They are swarming right there, diving on the court, getting the ball, forcing the turnover. There's a look there. Look, 4 different players diving on the floor.
And somebody had it, so they'll call a jump ball with Matt Wolf's crew tonight, leading our officiating. Runs through Christian Barnes, top scorer at the point guard role. Jameer Harris off the screen. Here's some ball movement to Quante James for 3. Rattles out. Hutchins goes up top to Daniel. He can let it fly. That's short. Nice rebound for Silas Tate. The glue guy, 7 points a game, big assist man this year. Back inside to Daniel. And Micaiah lost it. Here's Quay Williams to the bucket, no good. Quante James hacked hard and a foul. So free throws here for the Knights.
One of the things coming into this matchup, Northern Nash out-rebounded E.E. Smith in the regional 43-25, but so far we've seen Kings Mountain hold their own. Offensive board. Here's a look at that last play, going up strong, drawing the foul.
That's an important first foul on Daniel inside. He was a huge presence in the region all the way through the playoffs, the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. Injured in a car wreck, called the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson.
Micaiah Daniel is a huge part of this team, already getting a foul. They're taking him out. They don't want to get him too much foul trouble early.
And here's the spark plug, Caleb Nixon, 20 points a game off the bench all year.
The junior returning from that knee injury. He missed all of last season, working his way back into form with 20 points a game. Impressive.
First team all-league, but an elusive 6th man for a 12 seed in Norton Kings Mountain. Now some pressure from Northern Nash. Hutchins breaks the press. Here's some open Mountaineers, but a risky pass. Daniel through 3, challenges Silver, nice teardrop.
Nice job for Daniel. He's averaging 16 points a game. went over the defender with the teardrop shot right there.
And that's the Wembayama of high school basketball. 7 feet with a long wingspan. That'll be the assignment of Nixon at 6'6" to guard him.
Mountaineers running man-to-man, but they're sagging off, sort of giving up that three-point shot a little bit.
Here's up top. Odom's three. Rattles out. Nice board here from Jarrett.
Could see that be part of their strategy to make the Knights shoot from the outside.
Hutchins kicks it. Tate's three is good. Nice start for the Mountaineers.
Big time shot. Only 7 points a game for Tate. If he can be a factor today, it's going to go a long way.
The paramount key of Asheville 3. And Kings Mountain, who's been on the road all year long, they're looking good here in Joel Coliseum. Back inside Silver. Huge mismatch, and that's too easy.
They had Caleb Nixon on him right there. That's just too big of a matchup.
Foul trouble of Daniel. That's going to be a hard guard for Williams down there. Now Nixon can cook offensively. One of the top scorers in 6A hoops. Gets it here. Midway through the first quarter. Oh boy. His knee. He's down awkwardly. And now a whistle.
Crowd.
And they really want to check on Caleb Nixon after this.
Very concerned.
We'll take the timeout. Trainers will come out. Coach will too. Tight game through a first quarter. 2-point lead for Kings Mountain. Here's a look at the original Grills fan cam. Elevate your grill game. And these Kings Mountain students, they're ready to rock. 12 seed playing with house money and a quick lead.
Got a really good crowd for both teams tonight, but as you mentioned, Kings Mountain, 4 straight major upsets, all of them close, riding the momentum, trying to ride it all the way to state title, but major concern right now. Caleb Nixon went down with that knee injury. Couldn't really put any weight on it. They're looking at him right now, but that's a huge storyline as it develops.
Yeah, the top scorer exits, and Micaiah Daniel, who already picked up a foul, has to come back in. So they're hoping, for Kings Mountain's sake, to not get in foul trouble. There's ball pressure here from Jameer Harris.
He's going to have to be very careful guarding Silver underneath.
Daniel was unstoppable against Charlotte Catholic in the region final. 22 points, didn't miss a bucket. Let's see how Silver's size can affect that. Nice look underneath. And a bunny inside for Hutchins.
Good job. The screener was the one that popped open right there, and it was a good look by Daniel underneath.
And pulling Silver from the basket's a smart move.
Taking the shot blocker away. That way they're able to get the shot off without concern.
There's James for 3 from the college line. That's good.
James only 23% on the year, but that's a big one.
The paramount key of Asheville 3. Daniel's turn. Spins into Silver. No good. That's going to be the matchup. Which big man can dominate? Harris behind the back, throws it away. Here's Tate. Up ahead, Daniel. Daniel! Oh, blocked. Second chance is in. Nice effort.
Good job by the Mountaineers staying with it. A lot of contact on that block with the body. Clean up top, so they let it go.
Both coaches fired up. They wanted fouls on each end. Hotly contested 6A final. Barnes, he goes 3 ball. Bounces out and a board for Daniel. Oh, risky pass. And you see that both these teams speeding up late in the first quarter.
Right, and if you're Northern Nash, you don't want to fall in love with that 3. Just because they're sagging a little bit, you've still got a big advantage underneath. You want to try and get it to Silver, especially with Micaiah Daniel with the 1 foul. You want to try and get a second one.
Sir Jameer Harris. He's the assist king for Northern Nash. One of 3 starting seniors. Drives inside. Tip drill. Oh, hits the referee. Heather holding her own down on the baseline. And it goes the other way.
Gonna go with the Mountaineers.
Don't sleep on Heather Hurd. You see that quickness. She got out of the way. Good job leading this crew tonight. A battle-tested Kings Mountain team. They were hovering around 500 all year, but have won 7 straight, mostly on the defensive end. Nice drive, Daniel. Ethan to the bucket. There it is. Feed from his cousin.
Great job again, spreading the floor. You already mentioned it. Elevating Silver from being away from the basket makes it easier to finish.
Kai and Ethan Daniel have had conversations all year, right? We're going to win this as brothers together. Cousins playing sophomore and junior. And they're putting on a show in this playoff run. Here's some post position for Silver. They go outside instead. But a travel on the shot and back-to-back turnovers.
And the Knights, again, they got to be a little bit more patient. I thought Silver came open off of that screen, but they passed it before they looked at it.
That's the challenge this time of year. How do you avoid the bugaboos? Kings Mountain forces almost 20 turnovers a game. They make life tough. Now a Northern Nash 30-second timeout.
It's a good timeout for Coach Henry Drake. I think he wants to settle his team down. They've already given up 13 points, and they're a team that doesn't give up a lot of points. So settle them down on defense. Talk about how the Mountaineers are spreading them out. And then offensively, also be patient, get it inside. I think there's a lot of things they can do. Right now, they're just out of sorts.
A 5-point Kings Mountain lead, who had a real turning point early in the regular season. Beat Charlotte Catholic in a home game on their middle school court. Ripped off a couple of wins in December. And then started slow in conference play. It's a difficult Big South 5A, 6A, but they look battle-tested here in March.
They really do. They don't look like a 12 seed. They look like they're ready to battle this 1 seed toe-to-toe tonight.
Don't be fooled by the rankings in high school hoops. When you get hot, it can be extremely dangerous. Think of Kemba Walker for UConn all those years ago in the Big East tournament. They won 5 games in 5 days. Kings Mountain here on a crazy 2-week stretch as the up and under is blocked. The size of Silver all over it. Now the Knights running it. Barnes back inside. Nice finish on coast to coast.
Now the Knights can get into their full court press. They're just going to go man-to-man right here. That last possession, Silver just sagged in and was able to affect that backdoor cut.
Daniel's turn. Ethan Daniel. He's a 20-point-a-game scorer, but he's being corralled. Tate has to give it up. Look at this defense for the Knights. So impressive. Christian Hill checks in. He's doubled. The crowd coming alive. Daniel inside. Beats him down low.
And that time the Knights tried to trap. They got Silver again out beyond the three-point line, which gives Daniel the opportunity to finish.
And with no shot clock in the high school game, teams with composure can handle it.
The crowd really got into that position, so give credit to Kings Mountain for staying composed.
Barnes with a bad pass. Numbers, Kings Mountain. Here's Jarrett. Jarrett to the bucket. Misses. Tip drill good from Christian Hill.
More transition points for the Mountaineers. Coach said push it, not holding for the last shot. Now the Knights will.
Andrew Fans unit, they love to play in transition. Largest lead at 7. Barnes again, deep 3. Tip drill. And a nice board from Ethan Daniel. Kings Mountain is a 12 seed, but you couldn't tell by the first 8 minutes.
The Mountaineers are getting everything they want offensively and defensively, forcing the Knights into bad shots, finishing on their end. Huge first quarter, leading by 7 going into the break.
Back inside Joel Coliseum, the Arthritis Knee Pain Center stats for the first quarter. Kings Mountain very efficient and then forcing turnovers for Northern Nash.
We talked about coming in, they needed to stay hot. 8 for 16 from the field, 50%. That is exactly what they needed. And defensively, again, they're sagging off a little, forcing the three-point shot, and they've got Northern Nash at 1 for 6 from three-point line.
And our ready to roll garage door points in the paint +8 for Kings Mountain. Call Raleigh's garage door experts today. The 12 seed out of the west side of the state. On a day where the west side is 3-0, the east is yet to win one in these 2A and 6A titles. Kings Mountain battle-tested, 7 straight wins. Ethan Daniel has been clutch today. Holding Silver in check, but his defense is really good right there. How about a steal for Quay Williams? And then Quay almost gives it away. By the way, there's a town on the other side of the state called Fuquay.
Yes.
In relation to Jamarzia Quay Williams. Barnes was off a double. A lot of three-point shots for the Knights early. Maybe another here. Barnes. That one bounces out, but a good old board for Kingston Little. And Kingston strong down low.
Right there, Mountaineers didn't box out, sort of let a loose ball get to the Knights. Cost them 2 points.
Heavy ball pressure from Williams. Last touch by the Knights.
Now, they didn't execute right there, but they had the ball screen with Silver way high, and then they rejected the ball screen and just drove. That way they kept Silver away for any block shots.
Never no instant replay in high school, but that gives you a look at how close it was. That drive affected by Silver, the shot block leader in the state. Numbers for Odom. Zipped pass. Nice block hit. There's Williams.
Knights are getting into a rhythm now. 2 big buckets to close this lead to 3.
And able to speed up and play in transition.
Yes, I think they've got to push tempo a little bit because they've got some athleticism that they can use.
Northern Nash, the 1 seed, rolling through the playoffs. Beat E. Smith in the region final by double figures. Whoa, look at Silver getting up there. Leak out. Odom. 2 more and a lead.
Kings Mountain going to go to a timeout right here after that 6-0 run. Momentum well back on the Knights side.
And it starts with the shot blocking of the senior, Chris Silver.
He is so dynamic underneath. You just see how high he elevates there, and that not only does he block it, but he blocks it right to his own player to lead to the transition. That's 3 transition buckets for the Knights. Cut this lead now to 1.
That's a potential play of the game, Anastopoulou's play for the law firm. Very entertaining block, and you see the defensive presence here. Could change the game here in the second quarter.
And one thing we still haven't seen is Caleb Nixon coming back. He went out with that knee injury, hobbled off. Haven't been able to track down where he is, but still a major storyline for their leading scorer to be out for Kings Mountain.
He comes off the bench typically, but you're right, an awkward knee injury. Yet to see him return.
I believe it was a non-contact. It just looked like a twist, which makes you nervous that it could be that reconstructed knee.
And it sparked the whole run. Ball works through Xavier Hutchins. Hutchins goes inside to Jarrett. Silver tipped it almost in. He can really affect shots.
I think that would still count as a block shot with the tip that almost went in.
And does he get the assist if the bucket's made? There's a jumper, the first lead for Northern Nash.
Christian Barnes again in transition. They're not letting Kings Mountain set up in that sagging D. High ball screen here.
Blink of an eye, an 8-0 run, and a foul. That's on Silver. His first.
Northern Nash hedging that ball screen hard. They don't want Kings Mountain to turn the corner, but defensively, Silver, you just don't want to take a foul that far from the basket. As long as you redirect them out and away from the basket, you've done your job.
That's what Henry Drake's messaging 12 years in, a program that's had a lot of 20-win years, but a state title, 1968. Hutchins looks to get downhill. Finds Daniel. Step back 3. What a response for Kings Mountain.
Big time shot by the junior.
That's the key of Asheville three-pointer. Visit ParamountAuto.com. Little double team here. Can't find Silver just yet. Active hands. Odom goes left. And the foul on Kings Mountain.
And I think that's a good call, but Kings Mountain really sort of bailed him out there. He was a little bit out of control, tried to take the charge. Now he'll get 2 free throws.
Yeah, that screen just kept moving and moving and moving, trying to draw the charge there. The see-through construction free throw line, the contractor of choice in the OBX. And stay tuned for the Air Experts Heating and Cooling halftime report. We'll have a special interview with Q Tucker, commissioner of the NCHSAA. First half highlights and more. Schedule your tune-up at airexperts.com. Schedule a tight game, 1 point difference, 5 minutes left. Now we're all tied up. You noted the big injury to Caleb Nixon, top scorer, has not checked in since a knee injury early in the first quarter.
Odom, 51% free throw shooter, nailed them both.
And a hand touch foul. That's the second foul on Northern Nash. Well away from the bonus.
A lot of physical play, and then to get that hand check that far from the basket's a tough one.
Coach Drake was just in his stance saying, hey, move your feet, slide over, former collegiate athlete himself. Teaching the game right here at Rocky Mount.
Interesting, they switched Silver off of Daniel, try and keep him underneath defensively.
Daniel heaves. And a fight for the boards. Northern Nash has it. Here comes Christian Barnes. He fires. Good. And who touched it? It's Kings Mountain ball with the effort of Daniel.
Looked like Micaiah Daniels was able to knock it down off the foot of the night. We're going to look right here if he knocks it straight down off the foot or off the knee. Oh, but then at the end, I don't know. The referee had a great view of it. She was standing right there. I'm going to trust her call.
Kings Mountain 7 straight wins, a team that was below 500 right before the playoffs. Daniels' pass is tough. There's a steal. Here's Barnes again. Holds his dribble, finds a scorer, and there's Little.
Great pass there by Barnes. It looked like it was very congested, but he saw Little on the cut.
A 10-3 run for Northern Nash. They found some life here with the injury to Caleb Nixon.
The answer now is, where's the scoring going to come from for the Mountaineers?
Daniels pressured 30 feet from the basket. Hutchins has scored 10 a game this year. He swings it. Jarrett's three is good. Nice cornered bucket.
3 for 13 on the year for Jarrett. Is only his 4th. Huge shot here in the state championship.
That's the Paramount Auto three-pointer, and a big one at that. Here's Silver. He's a good passer as well. A lot of contact and a foul on Christian Jarrett sends us to break. 3 lead changes here in this second quarter. Northern Nash has come storming back, but Kings Mountain's got some fight in them. 1 point game as we close out the last 3 minutes of this first half. Welcome back to Winston-Salem. Stay tuned for the Riddle & Riddle Injury Lawyers Player of the Game. Riddle & Riddle, when justice counts. Tight 1 point game. Here in the closing 3.5 minutes, Northern Nash has taken advantage of a quick run, but Kings Mountain, despite missing Caleb Nixon, is now back from the locker room. This is a big impact as Kings Mountain regains the lead.
And he has got his knee wrapped up, but he I don't know, he looks very ginger, so we'll see if he gets a chance to get back in. Ethan Daniel leading the team right now with 9 points for Kings Mountain.
You noted Nixon injured that same knee a year ago and had missed most of the year. They've been working his way back. He's come off the bench in a lot of games. Certainly hope Nixon's okay, but that could change the complexion of this one. Quick inbound, and Little inside misses the bunny. Tip drill goes out of bounds.
Great inbounds play right there, and they didn't finish. You've got to take advantage of those opportunities in a game that's going to be close all the way.
And in Easter season, you got to hit your bunnies. Chocolate bunny, I assume?
Oh, I love a good chocolate bunny or a Cadbury egg.
Good man, as we inch closer to Easter Sunday in a couple of weeks. Here's the 7-footer in the lane, gets his own board, and earns a whistle.
We'll see who that's on.
That's an important foul. If it's on Micaiah Daniel, it's his second. And it is Daniel.
Got to be a big concern for Kings Mountain here. Great spin move, doesn't finish. Well, I love how Silver gets the rebound and doesn't bring it down. He goes right back up with it, draws the foul.
Silver's a quality free throw shooter as well this year, part of the see-through construction free throw line.
Welcome to the floor for the Mountaineers, number 22, A.J. Parker.
So first minutes for A.J. Parker, a 6-footer, comes in for a 6'7" player. A lot of guards on the court against Silver.
Parker only 1.7 points a game this year. Doesn't always get that many minutes, but he's got to work through with the injuries and the foul trouble.
And this foul is on Kings Mountain going for the rebound. That's Parker with the hold.
Gets in the box score right away, but not the way he wanted.
You ever have one of those immaculate box scores with no points, rebounds, fouls, or assists?
Probably too many that I want to mention.
Inside the former Towson coach, Derek Jordan, Evan Budrovich. There's a quick look and a nice defensive rebound with the undersized Mountaineers. Hutchins brings it in. And then run on the floor. Whoa, a lot of contact there. We have an injured player for Kings Mountain. Here's a 3, Daniel. That's good. Second chance triple.
Already up to 12 for Ethan. He is taking this team on his back right now. With Nixon out, he's got to be the star.
The paramount key of Asheville 3 with his cousin also in foul trouble, Micaiah. Ethan stepped up. Back down low, the mismatch. That's too easy with all the size of Silver.
Xavier Hutchins doing his best, really listed as a shooting guard, guarding a 7-footer.
4-on-1. Here's a 3, Hill. No good. This is going to be the challenge. Can Kings Mountain get stops with the size of the Knights? Barnes penetrates and loses it. And then a silly foul on Christian Barnes. The senior reaches in.
One of those frustration fouls. He got stripped of the ball, wanted it back instead of just getting back on defense.
It's a second foul as well, so he goes to the bench. And in comes Terrence Saunders, the senior point guard.
That's tough. You hate to take your leading scorer off the floor because of that silly foul. Only 2 minutes to go in the half. Smart move. Make sure he doesn't get a third.
And we see that in a college game. It applies here in high school. You get 5 fouls. You got to be smart in the state finals.
Especially when you're as valuable as Barnes is.
2 more subs set to come in for Northern Nash. And the top scorer injured, Caleb Nixon. Second best player, Micaiah Daniel, in foul trouble. Here's little Christian Hill swatted by the 7-footer. But then a hustle play, rolls out of bounds. It'll stay here.
That's a tough pull-up jumper against the 7-footer right there. You got to drive and dish in that situation.
You know, Muggsy Bose did this a time or two with Charlotte back in the day.
Oh yeah, well Muggsy, he was crafty. And he was definitely, he wasn't going to take it a 7-footer straight up on a jump shot. He was going to fake him and scoop.
Some good minutes from A.J. Parker, who subbed in for all these fouled out players for Kings Mountain.
Legendary Demon Deacon right here in Lawrence Stroll. Although he played most of his games in the Greensboro Coliseum way back in the day.
Nice drive for Hill, and he beats the 7-footer.
There you go. He drew Silver out to the top of the key and then used his speed to get by him. Much smarter attack.
Muggsy would appreciate that. The NBA standout and the Wake Forest Hall of Fame retiree. Closing minute and a half. A paint touch for the oversized Northern Nash unit. And a swat. Good block by Daniel.
Kings Mountain taking that 3-point lead here late. Northern Nash had the momentum, and right now the Mountaineers are just wrestling it back. Excellent game so far.
Look at Daniel come flying into your screen. DoorDash delivery, Ethan Daniel.
And Xavier Hutchins held his ground, did not swat down, avoided the foul.
Kick out to Kingston Little. He lets it go. And that's a shot Kings Mountain will live with.
18% from Little. That's just not his shot.
Now the mismatch is Hutchins on the 7-footer. So can the big man guard the point guard? Hutchins blows by him to the bucket. No good. May have affected that shot late. Quay Williams outside. Here's Barnes. A switch. Silver rolls down the lane. And a tip. Out of bounds off of Northern Nash.
It's a real interesting strategy by the Mountaineers. Instead of trying to match up with Silver, they've just gone basically 5 guards, spread it out, and forced Silver to play defense one-on-one.
So stay tuned for the Air Experts Heating and Cooling halftime report. Interview with Q Tucker, the commissioner, for staff highlights and more. Schedule your tune-up at airexperts.com. Kings Mountain, the 12 seed, 4 straight upsets. And there they are, up 3 in the closing minute.
38 seconds left. You could hold for the last shot. Knights seem content to let them do it as well.
Caleb Nixon out with a knee injury for the moment, and Micaiah Daniel in foul trouble. So it's the tertiary stars stepping up for Kings Mountain. Hutchins on the size of Silver. Gets a switch. Daniel goes into 2 more. Nice bucket.
Huge bucket for Ethan. That's 14 for him.
Here's Barnes. Heaves a prayer. No good. And a 5-point lead, largest for Kings Mountain.
Kings Mountain, the 12 seed, has come in on a hot streak, 7 games in a row. They've got the momentum. They've been feeling it. And they look like the favorite team so far.
A hot start for Northern Nash, but Kings Mountain, don't sleep on the Mountaineers. Entertaining first half in the 6A state title game.
You're watching the Air Experts Heating and Cooling Halftime Report. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
Well, hey there, everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the State Championship High School Basketball Games. Joining us is our long-standing partner all the way from Ingalls Markets, Miss Melissa Level. Melissa, are you loving these excellent basketball games?
I love it. What a great season it's been, and the best of the best is right here now on television.
Best of the best is right. Now, let's talk about that long-standing and robust partnership between Ingalls and High School Championship Athletics. What all does that entail?
It's just absolutely wonderful to be able to connect with all the schools within our region. You know, we're in 6 states, and so we have Friday Night right? So it's football, we do basketball, we have softball, even some Olympic-style sports, and we go all the way up through college, and then of course some minor leagues. But we just love that high school spirit and the fun with that. A lot of those players work with us. A lot of their parents have it, shop at our angle. So it's kind of like a big family coming to watch all of them play, right? So we love that.
We'll love it as well. Melissa, as always, thank you for taking the time to speak with us here today.
Thank you.
All righty. Let's get back to the game, folks.
You're watching the Air Experts Heating and Cooling Halftime Report. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
Championship week is always a special time for high school athletics in North Carolina. Joining us now is NCHSAA Commissioner Q Tucker to talk about what this event means for student athletes across the state. Commissioner Tucker, Championship week is finally here. What does this event mean for the student athletes who have worked all season to get to this stage?
All of the teams that are playing this week are regional champions. And so they entered this week as already a champion. And now they're trying to, put that cherry on the top, so to speak, and go home with a state championship.
This year's championships feature 16 games across 8 classifications for both boys and girls. What went into the decision to structure the championships this way?
A couple of years ago, the membership voted to amend our bylaws so that you could have no more than 64 schools in a classification. Now, it would have been very easy to stop at perhaps 6 classes, but at the rate we've been adding new schools, we would very quickly needed the membership to amend the bylaw again so that we could have more than 64 teams in a class, or we'd have to go ahead and have more classes. So the recommendation to our board of directors was that we go ahead and go to 8 classes, and that would give some flexibility in terms of adding new schools.
How does that expanded format create more opportunities for schools and student athletes across the state?
Because we have more schools that are getting into the playoffs than would have ever been in the playoffs, and they're able to make a deeper run. And that's exciting for those schools as well as for those communities.
For many of these athletes, this is the biggest stage they've ever played on. How does the association work with schools to prepare them for moments like this?
They needed to know, where your team will unload and how you get into the arena, what your dressing room situation will be like. Lawrence Joel Coliseum will be the largest arena they have been in for some of them. And so we just try to make sure that all the nuts and bolts are in place for the coaches to be able to share with the athletes.
When the final buzzer sounds on championship weekend, what do you hope every student athlete walks away remembering about this experience?
We want you to play hard. We want you to play to win, but we want you to do that and have fun so that you walk away and you think, you know, we won, it was great, or we were runner up, but it was great. And I had a great time with my teammates. For some of them, it would be the last time that they put on that high school jersey because they're seniors. So we want them to go away with those memories that will last a lifetime.
Commissioner Tucker, thanks for joining us, and congratulations to all the teams competing this week.
Thank you very much.
You're watching the Air Experts Heating and Cooling Halftime Report. Air Experts. Schedule your tune-up today at yourairexperts.com.
Spicy first half here in Winston-Salem, the 6A state championships. Our Air Experts Heating halftime report. So Kings Mountain, they came out slow out of the gates, but responded with a halftime lead and some fun highlights coming up.
Kings Mountain, it's been a game of adjustments, especially when Caleb Nixon went out and when Micaiah Daniels got into foul trouble. Here we saw a lot of transition early, getting some baskets. But the other thing they did, they started spreading the floor so they could drive in, pull Silver away from the basket. Big three, Ethan Daniels, he's got 14 in the first half. You're seeing all of his moves, hitting the three, finishing close to the rim. Meanwhile, for the Knights, it was Barnes trying to take over early, and then Silver late. He leads the team with 7 points, and they've got 4 other scorers at 4. So they've really spread the ball around. But the big thing is the Mountaineers have tried to force them to take 3-point shots, and they have, but only shooting 1 of 9. I think when the Knights have been at their best, it's been in transition, so they need to keep pushing the ball and try and beat that defense down the floor.
1 of 3 fun blocks from Silver. How about our arthritis knee pain center stats? Arthritis knee pain center relief without surgery or opioids. Pretty even in most of the categories, but better 3-pointers from Kings Mountain.
Kings Mountain, they were hot early. They've cooled off just a little bit from the field, but it is very even other than the 3-point shot. 9 extra points for Kings Mountain from 3, and that's really the difference with their 5-point lead.
Meanwhile, ready to roll garage door points in the paint for both teams. Ready to roll? Call Raleigh's Garage Door Experts today, and what do you know? A 6A title that's been close, and the points in the paint dead even.
Coming into this, we wondered who was going to win the matchup down low. Was it going to be Silver? Was it going to be Micaiah Daniel? So far, it's been pretty much a push, and you see that show up in the points in the paint stat.
The 12-seed Kings Mountain with a 5-point lead. Northern Nash, though, top seed. They're battle-tested. A fun second half brewing. We return to Winston-Salem. You're watching the 2026 NCHSAA State Championships presented by Riddle & Riddle Injury Lawyers. This is a 6A title. Kings Mountain is the 12 seed, upsets all throughout the bracket. And Northern Nash, the top seed with Chris Silver right there. The 7-footer is going to be playing college ball next year. But this Kings Mountain team with injuries, Caleb Nixon most likely out, and Micaiah Daniel in foul trouble. They're hanging around and have the lead at halftime.
Well, Kings Mountain is a 12 seed, but they've beaten the 1, the 2, the 4, and the 5 in the West. They are battle tested, and they are not intimidated at all by the 1 seed from the East.
The pride of Kings Mountain, North Carolina, in between Shelby and Charlotte. Fun area in Cleveland County for good sports. And here we go with Derek Jordan, Evan Budrovich. Next 16 minutes decide the final champion here in day 2 of the state finals.
Little zone here for the Mountaineers.
Silver, easy touch inside.
Don't know how much we'll see that zone after that possession. They got carved up.
Silver's a mismatch nightmare, and he's got 9 quick points. Can the Mountaineers take advantage of his size away from the basket? That's where Daniel dominated the region final. Micaiah goes inside and is blocked. Second chance blocked, but Silver stepped out.
Again, they're trying to elevate Silver away from the basket, but the Knights got a block shot from one of their other defenders right there.
That's 5 blocks now for Northern Nash, and they're really good at affecting shots. You see Andrew Fan calling out these plays, one of the better coaches on that side of the state. 4th year as the head man, best season with a deep playoff run. Baseline drive, Jarrett, another block. But that's actually a blocking foul and a block, so free throws here for the Mountaineers.
Now it's interesting, they're still in the 5 out, but now they've got Micaiah Daniels driving from the top of the key. He kicked out to Jared right there. Looked pretty stationary there.
And is there some friendly fire? 7-footer, Silver is slowly getting up. He got kind of toppled on the way down.
He did, he went up for the block, he elevated high and couldn't come down.
Oh, this is
cleanly.
Not good.
He's able to walk it off, but definitely going to get looked at.
So in a game where Caleb Nixon is most likely out with a knee injury, we'll check on Silver as he went down at the end of this play.
Here we'll get a better look at it. He had Harris underneath him. Oh, he rolled his ankle right there, right off of Christian Jarrett's foot.
So Silver goes to the bench. In comes Kingston Little. Both teams with undersized lineups now at the Tatum and Atkinson line.
It's one of those things that sometimes you get it retaped real quick, it's going to swell up overnight, but they've only got 15 game minutes left in the season. See how bad it is, whether he can get back in.
Silver went to the athletic training room in the tunnel. We'll check on him as the game goes on.
Both free throws missed, though. Big opportunity.
I feel like
lost.
These next 5 minutes for Kings Mountain are paramount with Silver out. A drive and a finish, so it's a 1-point game.
It's been a game of runs, a game of momentum, and right now it feels like the Knights are in control a little bit.
Christian Barnes amp up this defense to affect the drive. And Jarrett just turned it over. Not the ideal start for Kings Mountain with all this issues for Northern Nash.
The senior Quay Williams is shutting down Ethan Daniel. He hasn't even been able to get a touch. He's been the leading scorer, but he's getting shut down in this 3rd quarter.
A little press out of the break. Little goes inside. Another rebound, and Northern Nash leads it.
James, the freshman, with a huge putback.
All 6 of the points out of the break going to the Knights.
I think you got to get the ball to Ethan Daniel. You got to let him create if you can.
Here's Silas Tate with a jumper. And another defensive board for Kingston.
If the Knights get another basket, I would be calling a timeout, try and settle the team down. Big defensive possession here for the Mountaineers.
Henry Drake, 12 years as the head coach, 20 years on staff, knows how to run it, and a nice layup extends this lead.
Great job there by Barnes. The ball screen was coming. He faked like he was going to use it, rejected it, took it all the way to the hoop.
Hutchins just stepped out of bounds and traveled. This game's starting to unravel here for Kings Mountain.
Yeah, 8-0 run to start this 3rd quarter.
This wall, Northern Nash's best player, Chris Silver, is being traded in the tunnel.
It changes sort of what they want to do. It's more of a spread and drive now that Silver's out. It may weirdly work to their advantage for a bit.
Harris is fouled. More free throws for Northern Nash. Hello.
Right now, the Mountaineers do not have an answer for the speed of the Knights. Here's a look. They're just getting blown off the dribble, blown by off the dribble. And early in the first half, the Mountaineers were sagging. We're not letting that happen. I think they're extending a little bit too much, particularly with Silver out.
You see that ankle? He gets traded. He's back on the bench. We'll see if he comes back in.
Looks taped up.
But if you're Coach Henry Drake, the momentum of this game has changed. You kind of like how it's rolling with this guard lineup.
Absolutely. I feel like they're putting the pressure on. The defense is swarming. And I think after this free throw, they'll go press and just try and keep the Mountaineers out of rhythm.
Jameer Harris back to the line, 8-point-a-game scorer. All the other guys are stepping up with some of the stars injured here in the state final.
A 10-0 run here.
Where do you find a bucket if you're Kings Mountain?
You got to get it back to Ethan Daniel if you can, but Coy Williams is shutting him down, not letting him get the ball.
You see Daniel trying to run around zero on the white, but there's no real estate. So Hutchins attacks, finds a shooter, an air ball, and a rebound for the Knights. This is Barnes. Barnes penetrates, window strong. Hutchins has it poke loose, nice save. Now the Mountaineers can break the press.
Transition
Hutchins
opportunity.
goes to Jarrett. Jarrett spins. Tough fader. Searching for contact. Harris kicks it. Barnes! Almost in. It's Kings Mountain basketball.
If you're the Mountaineers, your three leading scorers, one of them is out injured, and the two Daniels cousins, they're the other two, and they're just not getting touches. Here we get a chance to see Silver. He is bouncing around. I think he's going to be able to get back in. Let's see what was out on.
Yeah, hard to tell based on that angle. Remember, Silver, he's warming up, so he might be a factor later in this third quarter, but 10 straight points with Silver on the bench. Silas Tate for three. No good. The three-pointer's falling early, but icy cold here as we dip into the night in Winston-Salem. Harris on the mismatch. Blows by one and earns a whistle. A foul on Xavier Hutchins.
Mountaineers started this half in a zone for the one possession and had the drive and dish. Now they're back to man-to-man, but they just cannot stop the penetration of the Knights. Got him with the body there just a little bit. It's going to be 2 free throws for Harris. The senior does not want to see his season end without getting a championship.
And a great free throw shooting team at Northern Nash. They're battle tested at the line until that shot at the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. 2 stars out injured for the moment. Caleb Nixon and Chris Silver. It's going to take a whole team effort to win this championship. Northern Nash is a club at 70% this year. They make that one.
Pushes the run to 11.
Which feels like 100 if you're Kings Mountain leading at halftime.
It does. It feels like just the weight of the world right now. They need to get a bucket to sort of break this streak.
Works through Tate. Inside Daniel. Acrobatic spin off the window. There you go.
That is a nominee for play of the game right there. A spin layup. Huge basket, and it's only a 4-point game. So now they got their feet under them. Maybe they can settle a bit. They are going to try the 2-3 zone again.
Just like Micaiah drew it up when he was dreaming of a state title run. Harris back inside. Easy finish. Northern Nash keeps responding.
Great job screening the zone there so they can cut through and get the layup.
There's Tate. He goes to the bucket. No good. And now a loose scrum. That's a live ball. Out of bounds, leads us to a media break. Inside of 4 minutes in this third quarter, and Northern Nash +9 to take the lead.
It's been a frantic third quarter for the Knights, and they have really put the pressure on the Mountaineers to flip that 5-point deficit into a 6-point lead as we reach late in the third quarter.
Here's our original Girls fan cam. Northern Nash back with the lead, and the student section's loving it.
Yeah, the Knights fans are loving this third quarter. It's been a frantic pace. They have pushed the Mountaineers out of their comfort zone on offense and defense. Now we'll see what Coach Andrew Fan of the Mountaineers can do to answer this run.
The 12-seed Mountaineers upsets all through the bracket. Now they're battle-tested. Top scorer Caleb Nixon out with a knee injury. Others are going to have to respond.
Kings Mountain has tried man-to-man. They tried zone. They're going to try that zone again. I still think they're going to want to pack it in and force the Knights to shoot from the outside.
Here's Jameer Harris in attack mode. And that first half, Northern Nash 1 of 10 from 3. They stretched the court, and that's where Kings Mountain got their momentum. Harris blows by, sets up Barnes. Tough jumper, rattles out, tip drill, and someone's got it. It sneaks through to Williams. Nice dish. Little's there.
Quay Williams, the senior, got the huge loose ball and the assist. He is really stepping up on both ends of the floor.
How about this 15-2 run to flip the script? Kings Mountain desperately needs a bucket, but that's a charge.
All the momentum with the Knights right now.
And that's the senior captain, Jameer Harris.
Here we're going to see the drive. He just sort of lowers the shoulder a little bit. Great job selling it by Jameer Harris right there. Crafty move for the senior.
A Northern Nash team that was in a rebuild mode this year. Their top player transferred to Florida. This young squad has responded. 24-3, impressive through the state playoffs, and now back in front.
Back to the man-to-man.
Harris off this screen. He's been instrumental. Almost out of bounds.
Great save.
Harris, the jumper. A little SGA-esque with that look. Note's still loose. A lot of steps for James.
Rebounding has been a big storyline here, too.
Nice drive and a better block by Hutchins. Now an outlet.
They've got numbers.
Daniel 4-on-1. No look. There's a layup and a much-needed bucket.
Little with a huge basket.
So as Kings Mountain's gone small, they found more efficiency offensively.
They have. I still want to see Ethan Daniel get some touches. He was too good in the first half.
Quante James. That's a hard look. And a rebound for Hutchins. And now an outlet. This is where Kings Mountain's had success. Through Daniel. Another no-look dime. And a goaltending. So Tate cuts the lead to 4.
Little with great athleticism to get up and get a piece of that, but it was already off the board. Great pass there by Daniel. Yeah, well, easy call there for the ref.
The Olympic jumping skills of Kingston Little. I need to see him in the triple jump.
If I could jump that well, I would goaltend every time. That was really impressive.
So the junior subs out. And now the big man comes back in. Chris Silver, who missed the last 5 minutes with an ankle injury.
So they've cut that 8-point lead in half by getting stops, forcing the Knights into one shot.
Barnes, one-on-one, fires the 3. Big rebound, but an over the, oh no, it's a defensive foul, pardon me, on the box out there from Tate.
Hutchins was trying to sort of root him out there. They called a hold. Yeah, okay, that left hand right there was hooking him. That's a good call there by the referees.
Chuck Wynn, part of our crew, Matt Wolf, leading the referees tonight. And back to a 4-point game in the closing minute of this third quarter. There's a freshman, Quante James. He's played some huge minutes on the defensive end. Demanye Odom has checked in. Here's his first touch. Silver, the 7-footer, long jumper rattles out. Hutchins, another big rebound.
That's a shot that the Mountaineers want him to take.
Here comes Christian Hill. Oh, no chance. 5'11" on 7 feet. Good luck.
Came off the ball screen there. That was going to be going into the stands pretty much no matter what.
And coming up, we'll have an Ostapulo law firm play of the game. Injured, don't screen, call Akeem. Ball 800s, all 7s. That block might make the list.
Definitely a candidate.
Bad pass. Northern Nash with numbers. Here's James, the freshman. Hits that layup.
James has been a find this year.
Another steal, but a late whistle. And only the second team foul, so not the bonus yet for Kings Mountain.
We talked about how C.J. Rosser, the top player in the country last year, transferred to a prep school in Florida. They wanted to know who was going to start to step up. Well, Quante James, the freshman, has stepped into a big-time starting role, having a big impact tonight.
At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll have the Riddle and Riddle player of the game. Riddle and Riddle when justice counts. All the secondary guys who stepped up in this one. Some of the stars injured. But that's what makes these high school tournaments fun. Daniel into the big body of Silver, and a foul on the 7-footer. Free throws here for Kings Mountain.
Great inbounds play there for the Mountaineers. Micaiah was able to get it down low. He had great position. He used his outside hand. And the only way Silver could get the block was to come down and over. You'll see it right here. Yeah, he got him on the arm. He felt like he was straight up, but he definitely came down on that arm.
Just the second foul on Silver here at the Tatum and Atkinson free throw line. Call the heavy hitters at Tatum and Atkinson. A friendly bounce for Micaiah Daniel.
Only a 48% free throw shooter. That's huge to get that one.
Sometimes you need those to win a state championship, right? The numbers aren't always the story.
There's a big difference between hitting a shot in a blowout in December and hitting a shot late in the state championship game. I'm sure he's been working on those free throws all season.
Micaiah and his cousin Ethan have carried the load for Kings Mountain with the injury to Caleb Nixon. Top scorer out with a knee injury. He got hurt in the first half. And the sophomore, Micaiah Daniel, makes both.
Looked like an 80%er on that second one. Swish.
The third quarter full of runs is back to 4. This is Barnes. Gets some space. Baseline drive James. Into 3. That's a block. And the closing second ticks off the quarter. Oh, that's good, but it won't count. Fun shot from Silas Tate.
Incredible shot there, one-handed three-pointer.
So we'll step aside. Northern Nash, they dominate the third in a 4-point lead as we enter the final frame of this 6A state title. Welcome back to Joel Coliseum, your Arthritis Knee Pain Center stats. Northern Nash was down at halftime, but they've won the battle from the free throw line to come back.
Right, they won that quarter 17-8, and we see they were 1 of 9 from 3 in the first half, only shot 2 that quarter. They really penetrated, drew fouls, got to the free throw line, and that's where they've taken advantage.
The ready-to-roll garage doors points in the paint call. Raleigh's garage door experts fairly even, but now Northern Nash with a 4-point lead entering the fourth.
Right, and that was totally even at the half, so Northern Nash has gotten a little bit of separation there.
Keep in mind the injury to Caleb Nixon, top scorer from Kings Mountain. Others have had to step up. And here's Silas Tate, blowing by one for a layup.
That was an incredible hesitation dribble, and he got the scoop up before Silver could get there for the shot block.
In a building where CP3 made a living on hesitation dribbles, the undersized Tate gets the bucket.
8-2 run for Kings Mountain to cut this lead to 2.
Chris Silver returned from an ankle injury. Northern Nash extended their lead to 10, but now it's getting tight. Little matchup zone and a steal. Ethan Daniel picks his pocket, lays it in, tie game.
It's interesting, when Northern Nash made their run, it was Silver was out with the ankle injury.
Well, now it's Daniel slow to get up. He might be cramping. We'll check on that.
We'll take a look at the replay. He got the steal. Silver dribbling, easy pick. He protects the ball for the shot here. Let's see any landing. You don't see anything strange. You just see him reach for that.
Yeah, the trainers, they have all the equipment out you need to clear a cramp.
Yeah.
Remember, Ethan Daniel, he talked to his cousin at the start of January, and they said, hey, we have a plan. As an underseed, we're going to keep going, keep fighting. They found a way to do it. 4 upsets in this state tournament.
Normally cramps, you can work them loose. They're going to have to stretch it.
So without Ethan Daniel for the next couple of minutes, and without Caleb Nixon, scoring's going to be hard to come by here for Kings Mountain.
Finally got Daniel involved. 2 buckets, and now he's out.
Both fan bases getting involved as Kings Mountain, the 12 seed, comes storming back.
Months and months of practice, years of practice leading to these last 7 minutes. Who's going to get that first ring in a long time?
Harris swings it. Silver has subbed out, so not the size advantage here for Northern Nash.
Mountaineers in a zone.
Tough floater. And a tip drill. Little the board. Another loose ball. Second chance, no good. That's touched by Kings Mountain.
Even with Silver out, the Mountaineers cannot keep the Knights off the glass. Really been impressed with how hard Little's been playing. He averages 6 rebounds a game, but it just feels like he's been around every loose ball.
Yeah, the junior forward's been clutch, especially with the injury to Silver. This is Barnes' turn. Another tough jumper. And look who's there. Kingston Little is fighting on the glass.
He's able to keep it going, knock it off the defender there. Another second chance opportunity, third chance, fourth chance. Mountaineers have got to find a way to corral that rebound.
But only 8 second chance points with all those looks. Can Northern Nash capitalize here? 8 straight points for Kings Mountain to come storming back.
He faked using the screen last time, he uses it.
Barnes uses it. Floater. Bounces in, and Kings Mountain are now down 2.
Great job reading the defense right there.
No Daniel, no Nixon, no ball pressure. Able to recover, and then Little knocks it out.
Mountaineers caught a little bit of a break there.
Well, coaches have a million game plans, but this is hard when your top 2 scorers are out. One via cramp, one via knee injury.
Right, and they're your ball handlers.
Look at Daniel going to the bucket. There's a solution.
How about that? Nice pass by Hutchins.
So a little more Micaiah Daniel, who was the star of the region final. He had 22 in that one. Daniel's hyping up his team, too, in a tie game. Harris has been guarded well all day, limited to just 3 points.
Knights are going to need to penetrate even against this zone. Don't settle.
No shot clock in a high school game, so good defense can extend out. Tough J rolls out, rebound, Daniel. Here comes Christian Hill. The junior swings it. Tate's 3. No good. Offensive board, Hutchins. Hutchins the drive. Another 3. It's good!
Christian Hill, he's hit 33 threes this year, coming off the bench. He's got that left-handed shot. Puts Kings Mountain ahead for the first time
Gigantic Paramount three-pointer. Closing 5 minutes of this 6A title. Outside, the shot fake from Williams. Here's a three. Good. Tipped, loose, rolling. Kings Mountain basketball.
Mountaineers are in that 2-3 zone. They're packing it in. They're forcing the Knights to shoot from the outside. We've talked about it a lot. Barnes needs to keep penetrating, keep getting it inside. He's too good.
And here comes Chris Silver back in the game. Some more size for the Knights. Remember, still no Ethan Daniels, still no Caleb Nixon for Kings Mountain. The 12 seed, up 3 in the state title.
Cinderella story. 4 minutes to go to try and finish it.
Good hands. But Williams steps out. That's Quay Williams, so stays here.
Quay has been a force on the defensive end. Just stepped out of bounds, otherwise he's going the other way for a layup.
Kings Mountain's never won a state title. Northern Nash back to 68. Trying to make some new history tonight. Good hands by Silver in a reset. Daniel drives. Shot fake and a block. Good coverage from Williams.
And James coming over as well, the freshman.
Good news, Ethan Daniel set to check in, and a three. Bounces everywhere, rebound, Kings Mountain.
Another settle for the Knights.
Christian Hill pushing it. Kings Mountain was down 8 in the fourth. They've picked up the tempo. Down low, Daniel challenges Silver. Back with the left, no good. And here's Quay Williams.
Good defense without fouling.
The freshman, the lob. A lot of traffic. That's good, 1 point game.
Good finish for Jameer Harris.
Daniel, 2-on-1. Challenges Silver, no good. Daniel again is fouled, and it leads us to a media timeout. Kings Mountain, the 12 seed. They can taste the state title up 1 late in the third.
It is a 1 point game. It is a battle back and forth. Star players are stepping up, and so are the role players. It's going to be a great finish in the last 3 minutes, 30 seconds.
Welcome back to Winston-Salem. This 6A state championship comes down to the next 3.5 minutes. Back and forth runs. Northern Nash, 24 wins. Great regular season. Kings Mountain is surprise of the state. The 12 seed has the lead here late.
They were 9-12 before they started this seven-game winning streak. They're 3:30 away from getting the ring, getting the trophy. Quite the finish. We got Micaiah Daniel at the line. He's 48% free throw for the season, but he made 2 earlier.
What's going through the mind of fourth-year coach Andrew Fan, a club that first-round exits the last 2 years and have taken the 6A by storm as their star, Micaiah Daniel, is at the see-through construction line. You couldn't tell me 48% with that look.
He's obviously been working on it all year. The question is, who is going to be the person to step up and become a legend?
Well, Ethan Daniels certainly helps, getting him back from a cramp earlier in the game. Kings Mountain is still without Caleb Nixon, their top scorer, who had a knee injury in the first half. A solid night, a 3-point lead.
4 straight there for Micaiah. They're going to stay in the 2-3 zone, but they're pressuring up top to start it.
Northern Nash has settled for a ton of threes tonight, 1 of 11. When they work the ball inside, they're tough to stop. Here's inside. Good look, but Daniel the board has it loose. Who's the foul on? Oh, it's against the Knights. Oh, and the second foul on Northern Nash this quarter.
Micaiah Daniel with a huge defensive rebound. He'd have been better served to kick it out to his guard, but he gets bailed out a little bit with the foul. Now here Northern Nash all year. First we'll take a look. That was Quay Williams. Got it inside, but it was a little bit of a force. You almost want to get inside, kick it out. I still want to see Barnes driving and James as well.
So with Nixon injured, it runs through Christian Hill, the junior guard. Hill looks for space.
Mountaineers can be patient here with the 3-point lead.
And no shot clock in the high school game here in North Carolina.
Ethan Daniels just could not get the ball.
Now he's got it. Silas Tate has it.
Tate, yeah.
A lot of communication from Kings Mountain. It's back in Daniels' hands.
I think they're running a little bit of clock right here.
Tate into 4. They don't have to shoot this ball. Good hands for Barnes and a reach in. That's the 3rd foul. The other part of the game is you get to that 5th foul, then free throws. That's how you get the ball back.
And it's an interesting strategy because the Knights play such pressure defense. The idea of being able to hold it for 2:29 seems a little daunting, but you know Coach Fan has probably worked on this situation all year. Good execution so far.
So here comes Demanye Odom, another pressure-filled guard. And Jameer Harris will go to the bench with that foul.
Plenty of timeouts for both coaches if they want to go offense, defense, substitutions.
Oh, wide open. Daniel the bucket. Huge inbound play.
Great pass there. Daniel to Daniel. 5-point lead now for the Mountaineers.
The cousin connections locked in this 4th quarter lead.
Christian Barnes has got to take over right here. Senior leader.
Barnes has it. Deep 3. He scored! Timeout, Northern Nash.
As if on cue, Christian Barnes knew they needed a huge shot. He hits the 3, cuts it to 2. Now Northern Nash with the timeout. Here you go, the ball screen. Silver gets him a little space. Almost a college 3 right there, and he nails it.
Clutch shot after clutch shot in this 6A title game.
This is exciting high school basketball right here. Everybody that's tuned in, they're seeing a great one.
Remember, Northern Nash had a big 9-point run in the 3rd quarter to take the lead, and Kings Mountain has gone right back with a run of their own.
It's been back and forth, and right now, 2:07 to go. The strategy on the last possession for the Mountaineers was to try and run clock. The Northern Nash overplayed a pass, and it led to a layup. I think we'll see a similar strategy, but first thing they have to do, get it in bounds. Second thing, get it over half court. Then they can implement that strategy, but those first 2 things are tough against this swarming defense.
The 12 seed Kings Mountain had a losing record going into the playoff run. Well, they've been impressive. Here's Silas Tate to throw it in.
Trapping opportunity there, they didn't take it. They're playing straight up.
Able to break the pressure under 2 minutes to go. Oh boy, loose scrum. And a double team with a foul. The Knights thought they had a layup, but a late reach is the 13th foul for Northern Nash.
That was a tough call. We'll see it on replay here. Pressure defense. Christian Hill got himself into some trouble. Let's take a look. He recovers the ball. He did get right on the arm there. Quante James, good call. Referees are so good. Sometimes you're not sure about the call, and on replay you see it be accurate so often. You got to give him credit for making that call live.
Jameer Harris comes in for Barnes. Little offense-defense switch with 1:55 left. And with no shot clock in the high school game, pressure becomes a big factor.
They went with the trap.
Here's Hill resetting. Kind of forcing the hand of the Knights, who are a foul away from free throws. Hutchins has it. The freshman's guarding him. And a 5-second violation. Crazy call with 1.5 minutes to go.
Coach Andrew Fan does not like the call. He thought there was enough separation to reset the 5-second count, but there was not. 2-point game now, 1:36 to go. Christian Barnes back in. He hit the huge three the last possession. If I'm the Knights, I want the ball in his hands driving to the basket.
And this with the 7-footer, Chris Silver off the floor. All these guards stepping up for the Knights. "90 seconds to decide the 6A champion." Harris blows in. No good. Rebound. Williams has it.
Quay Williams has been a huge factor in this fourth quarter. Big time offensive rebound.
Now Kings Mountain has a couple of timeouts. They didn't use it there. And in comes the defense of Devontae Odom.
Now there's 1:12 left. Now because it was tipped out of bounds, they will not be able to run the baseline. It's going to make it harder to get it in.
Look at this effort from the senior, Quay Williams.
All out effort.
Hutchins to throw it in, the sophomore. Bad pass. Was it touched? No, it's Northern Nash ball.
Unforced turnover right there. Let's see if it was touched. It was a lot closer than I thought. Don't think it was, though. I didn't see a change of the rotation of the ball.
Officials will grant the timeout for Kings Mountain. And how this game's changed with 6 straight points from Northern Nash.
That last possession was all-out effort by Quay Williams. Xavier Hutchins had position, but couldn't get the rebound. The putback ties it up. Good defensive deflection. And on the second try, he could not run the baseline. It was going to be a tougher inbound. Threw it away. So now with 1:12, we're going to reset here. You got to imagine that the Mountaineers will stay in that 2-3 zone. And you want to put the ball in Christian Barnes' hands to drive and dish or drive and shoot. Big thing for the Mountaineers, you've got to box out. You cannot let second chance points.
Northern Nash, who lost in their regular season final, 6 straight wins, impressive throughout the playoffs. And down 6 late, showing some resolve. Facing the Kings Mountain team has been the underdog all tournament, the 12 seed.
Mountaineers never won a title. Northern Nash, it's been 58 years. Somebody's going home with a huge victory.
Here's Barnes to throw it in. Bad pass. Oh, that was risky. Reset, James. We got players down on both ends.
Bit of a scramble. All right. 1:04 to go. They're in the zone. The Knights might hold it for the last shot here if the Mountaineers don't come out. Coach Andrew Fann's trying to decide how he wants to attack it defensively.
Here comes Harris. Tough pass and a steal. Throws ahead the wrong way. Over and back. Loose ball on the floor. Timeout. Northern Nash. Hold your breath.
A lot to unpack there. Almost a over and back. Almost a jump ball. The Knights called a timeout. They're going to grant the timeout, although the referees are talking. All right, it's a full timeout right there.
Now that was bonkers.
I thought maybe we're going to unpack all of this. First, you've got Barnes trying to recover it. Now, he's in the front court, but he never has possession. So I don't think the over and back is a factor here. But then the question is, does the jump ball happen? You see Coach Henry Drake calling timeout as fast as possible. Was it recognized before the jump ball? They gave it to him. And now all that, we're right back to where we were, but down to 45 seconds.
How can you not soldier boy to stuff like this? Entertaining fourth quarter. Kings Mountain's been the underdog since the start of March. And now they need a stop as Northern Nash got the timeout.
The Lawrence Joel Coliseum, the lower bowl is pretty full. Everybody's on their feet for the last 45 seconds. Now right here, the Mountaineers want to stay in that 2-3 zone, but if they do that, the Knights are holding for the last shot, so it's a bit of a chess match here about whether you come out of the zone and force the Knights into some action.
No shot clock in North Carolina high school basketball, so the mental game becomes a factor. 6-point lead for Kings Mountain evaporates.
They're going to go man-to-man, the Mountaineers are, so you want to get it to Christian Barnes using a ball screen.
And it works through Barnes, the senior point guard. He's fouled immediately, but that's only the first team foul. It will take 4 more fouls to force free throws.
So they've got fouls to give. I don't know if they did that one on purpose, but they can stay aggressive.
Chris Silver remains on the bench for Northern Nash. It's all guards now for the Knights. And here's Barnes. Another foul. That's on Silas Tate. Only his first. Pardon me, his second now.
That's 3 now for the Mountaineers. They've still got 1. Well, that's just 2.
They got to have 5 fouls in the high school
So
level
they've
to
got
get free throws.
2 more to give. They're trying to force a mistake here by the Knights.
Barnes into the front court. Barnes drives. Tough jumper. No good. Daniel lost it out of bounds. It's Northern Nash ball.
Now right there, Barnes had a chance to drive. He settled for the 3. He's too good to settle. He's got to attack the basket, force the defense to come over and challenge him and maybe draw the foul.
Looking to his staff and 12th year head coach Henry Drake, who wants a timeout. He'll talk about it. This is where playoff basketball gets enticing. Clock, circumstance, the whole thing.
And we talked about earlier, the Mountaineers, they've got to get a stop and a defensive rebound right there. That was an opportunity to get the ball. Went off of Micaiah Daniels' hands.
This Kings Mountain team, without Caleb Nixon, the rest of the third quarter, fourth quarter, Ethan Daniels playing with cramps. Micaiah Daniels had foul trouble. And all of that, they're in this game as the 12 seed with a chance to win it.
It's been incredibly impressive, this run. We talked about 5 wins in 9 days. Then the 8-day layoff, would they be able to keep the momentum? But they have looked every bit the equal opponent to this 1 seed from the East. 23 seconds now, they're going to be underneath. We've seen some lobs to Silver, but he's out right now. They've gone a little smaller.
Yeah, the 7-footer has played on the bench most of the fourth quarter.
One of the freshmen, Quante James, can elevate so well, and sometimes he's got a guard on him, so you could see a lob to James, number 11, see if you get an easy basket. But if I am Coach Henry Drake, I think I just want to get it to Barnes, and I want the last shot here. I don't want to give the Mountaineers a chance if I miss for them to have the last shot.
This 6A title's lived up to the billing. A 12 seed playing beyond their weight in the top seed Northern Nash with the ball to win it. Here's Christian Barnes. Jameer Harris has it.
Tate with great defense, denying Barnes.
So Harris with 13. What can the senior cook up? Harris to Barnes. Open 3. No. Rebound Hutchins. Heaves for the win. No. And no timeout granted, so we go to overtime.
This game has been too good to end it in 4 quarters, so we're going to add an overtime to the mix. Quite a finish there. They got the ball to Barnes. He wasn't able to hit the 3, and now we'll have to decide it in extra time.
The nightcap gets a little juicier with 4 extra minutes of hoops. And still no Christian Silver on the court. They're staying with this guard lineup here for Northern Nash.
Well, it was an interesting little stretch of the game when Silver went out with the ankle injury. Northern Nash made their run. When he came back in, it changed the dynamic of the offense and the defense. And Kings Mountain made their run. And so it just seems like the Knights needed to match up with the small lineup of the Mountaineers, and that worked for them. It was a 5-point lead for Kings Mountain, but a 5-0 run to finish for the Knights force overtime.
Worth noting, Northern Nash's lone overtime game is against Fike, who's playing in the 5A final. They beat Fike, their league opponent, in OT.
And the last game of the regular season for Kings Mountain was at North Gaston, a 70-68 overtime win. And reading some articles about the team, they talked about that being the turning point from going, they were 10-12 at the time. That got them to 11-12, set them up to be the 12th seed. They have not lost since.
3 overtime wins for Kings Mountain this year. These are 2 poised and prepared programs. Don't be fooled by the seed, the record. This is a heavy-hitting battle in the championship.
Both teams extremely well coached. You can see why they made it to this stage. It is a great basketball game. You hate to see anybody lose it, but the champion will definitely be worthy, regardless of which team it is.
The pride of Nash County against the pride of Cleveland County. And we'll tip it off for 4 minutes of fun here in overtime. Kings Mountain, the 12 seed. Northern Nash, the top squad.
Kings Mountain a little misaligned here.
And let's get overtime started. A loose scrum. It goes to Ethan Daniel, and the Mountaineers have it first. This all without top scorer Caleb Nixon, who left with an injury in the second quarter. Hutchins, he penetrates. Nice blow by. Loose scrum Daniel. He's hacked on the way up and a foul.
Daniel with the huge offensive rebound, draws a foul. Still early in the overtime, but we've noted his season free throw percentage was 48, but he has been hot tonight.
Second foul on Quay Williams, who free throws here for Daniel. Who looks as cool as ever, shooting the ball late.
5 for 5 at this point.
And worth noting, the bonus translates from the fourth quarter to overtime, so you see Kings Mountain now in the bonus. This sophomore has stepped up tonight. Here's a loose ball and a rebound for Northern Nash.
Silver back in the game. Let's see if they try and go inside to him.
No touches in that fourth quarter. He'd been more of a guy off the bench tonight. Underneath, Williams has it stripped. Loose scrum, and it goes to Hutchins.
Great dig down by the defense of the Mountaineers to force that tough shot.
Hutchins, all to the bucket, feeds another. What a swat. Daniel has it. And a reset.
Micaiah Daniel, huge offensive board again.
Tate into the lane. Hard pass and a steal. This is Quay Williams to the bucket. He's fouled on the way up, and 2 free throws.
Now Tate got caught in the air there for the Mountaineers, had nowhere to go. That forced the bad pass and the steal. Here we'll see the replay. Quay Williams has been so impressive today. Goes in strong, gets him with the body. Can't finish to get the end one, but he'll get 2 free throws. 77% for the senior.
But his first free throws of the night, he misses that one. How difficult is it 6 months in, championship game hitting these overtime free throws?
And in a huge arena, you're not used to playing in an arena this size. Probably the biggest free throw of his life right here.
This to tie the game early in overtime. There's the composure.
Clutch shot. And it allows the Knights to set up their full court press. They can run the baseline.
Kings Mountain wants a timeout. You get extra timeouts when the game goes into overtime, so that gives you a sense how many each has left.
Kings Mountain had 4 right there, so they've got a lot to give. We got the tie game with 3 minutes to go.
For Andrew Fan in year 4, last 2 seasons, early first round exits, hovering around 500. Same story this year, but the resolve and the grit of this team to overcome being a 12 seed, it's been fun to watch.
I've loved the coaching matchup between Coach Drake and Coach Van. They've been making adjustments and adjustments to the adjustments in terms of changing defenses, substitutions. Right now, Silver's in the game for his defensive prowess. I think for the Mountaineers right now, again, step 1, got to get it in, get it over half court. Once they do that, you got to figure if you can get Ethan Daniel the ball, let him penetrate, he's your best option. I don't know that Micaiah Daniel going one-on-one against Silver's the way to go, but I tell you what, Daniel, Micaiah that is, with the offensive rebounds, has been huge in this overtime. So look for him to crash the boards.
And this Mountaineer student section, they have been resolvent. They've been tough, gritty in this championship run. Remember, Kings Mountain had their court redone this year, so played all the games in the middle school. It felt like Rogue Warriors. Oh, that's been a rallying cry for them, and here they are an hour from home from Kings Mountain here in Winston-Salem, looking for an overtime winner.
And in these playoffs, they've had to go on the road 4 straight games, and then now here in Lawrence Joel and Winston-Salem.
It works through Silas Tate, the sophomore, out of his timeout.
Nice play there to run everybody off and then bring Micaiah Daniel back.
Tough pass for Hutchins. Xavier off a pick. Well, he's got Daniel now in the mismatch. Daniel inside, lost it on the way up.
Great strip by Quante James. Freshman with the steal. Built the horn set, the 2 high post.
How many times do we see this in college, too? It's a ready-made play. Off the screens, Williams. Jameer inside, throws it up, and no block, out of bounds.
I think that's a good call right there. Now the Mountaineers got their hand on the ball to alter the shot, but then it was ultimately off of the Knights. Spot throw in here, but Makai Daniels wide open, so not an issue. Silas Tate, the sophomore's been in control this 4th quarter.
Ethan Daniel battling cramps. Caleb Nixon with a knee injury. Nice ball pressure. Now 4 on 5. Tate kicks it. Daniel knocks in a 3.
Ethan Daniel, 34% for the year. Huge shot to put the Mountaineers up 3.
Gigantic 3-pointer here in overtime.
Christian Barnes was on the bench. He would be who you'd want to go to. 2 timeouts for the Knights right now. I think he might use one.
Yeah, there's the timeout. With 1:27 left. Barnes and Little re-enter.
I think that was a great timeout there for Coach Henry Jake. You do not want Barnes to be out in this position. That was a huge, huge 3-pointer. Let's take a look now. There was a gamble there by Jameer Harris. It made the Knights scramble. The kick to the corner for Ethan Daniel. He's had trouble getting open this whole second half, but now he's got 21 points.
That's the Akeem Anastopolo Law Firm Play of the Game nominee. Injured, don't strain, call Akeem.
We've seen some impressive moves earlier, but in terms of importance, that is the biggest shot of the game to this point. I think if the Kings Mountain Mountaineers can win this game, that's the play right there that they'll talk about for years.
Kings Mountain never won a state title. They made it in the 50s and 68 and 90, right? So a lot of history in the past. Well, this team is full of its own history. As a 12 seed, you see the fellow student athletes making the trip up from Cleveland County.
Public high school, as we've said, between Gastonia and Shelby, established in 1905. So that's 121 years of school, never won a basketball state title. They're 87 seconds away from possibly getting their first.
So Northern Nash will leave Chris Silver on the bench. They've got more guard-oriented late in this game. And it works through Quante James, the freshman, to bring it in. Kings Mountain has a couple of fouls to give before the bonus. Harris finds Barnes. Tough J, earns a whistle and one.
Christian Barnes, they ran him off the down screen. He pulled up for the jumper. He sort of hesitated to get the contact. Here, we'll take a look. Jumps in just a little bit right there to draw the foul. Finishes the senior. When they've needed a huge bucket, he has come through all year long, including tonight.
Biggest free throw of Christian Barnes' life to try to tie this in overtime.
80% free throw shooter. First one of the night.
How about for the game on the line? Money.
He made it. 1:16 to go. Who's going to be the star to step up now?
It works through Silas Tate. Hutchins off a pick. Christian Hill, big second half minutes. Oh, a lot of pressure and a late foul. That's on Jameer Harris. And free throws for Kings Mountain.
That's going to send Christian Hill to the line. The Knights were overplaying. Got the foul.
Big free throws for Kings Mountain. They made a lot of shots late to force overtime. They're 8 of 12 from the line today.
15 for 22 on the year for Christian Hill. Oh,
yeah, Silas Tate's been a clutch sophomore as well. Short.
Tate 72% on the year. I thought it had been Hill that got knocked over. It was Tate. This is
Are
a
your
big
hands not getting sweaty right now, thinking of this moment?
I mean, I want to be out there either playing or coaching right now. It's an incredible game.
To take the lead with 1 minute left. Smooth.
Big time shot. They've played Barnes off the ball and used screens to get him open. We'll see if they do the same here.
So Jameer Harris has it, one of the senior captains.
No fouls to give left for the Mountaineers.
Now Barnes with it. Downhill. Tough floater, Barnes. It's good. Wow. And a whistle leads to free throws for Kings Mountain.
First of all, incredible shot by Barnes. Coming off that down screen again, makes a tough shot. A championship level shot. Then defensively, the Knights pressured. Could have been called for a travel. There's Barnes first, the step back shot. That was incredible.
And now free throws for Ethan Daniel after this foul.
Right here, is there a travel or a bump? It's definitely a bump. So the question is, were there steps before the bump happened? Probably a good call. Here's Daniel, Ethan for the free throw.
Ethan had a cramp earlier tonight. It hasn't affected him at the line.
Ties it up again.
Remember, this Kings Mountain team, without their top scorer, Caleb Nixon, knee injury in the second quarter. Other guys have stepped up. And these Daniel cousins are clutch. It's Ethan's turn. Rolls out, tie game. No shot clock in North Carolina High School, so Northern Nash can hold it.
Knights have one timeout.
Harris straight to the bucket. That's good. Now we got whistles everywhere. And a timeout for Northern Nash.
So Northern Nash wanted to get the timeout after the make. Jameer Harris with a huge driveless. A little hesitation dribble. The help defense was focused on screens away from the ball. Big time finish. Coach Henry Drake trying to get the timeout. There's about 22 seconds on the made basket.
Final timeout for Northern Nash. And this with Chris Silver on the bench. This guard-oriented lineup. A lot of seniors making big-time plays.
Barnes and Harris, the two seniors, as you mentioned, huge
So how do you
shots.
manage the clock here if you're Kings Mountain down 2?
It'll be.
They're going to adjust the clock, not 2 seconds, but
Right.
there'll be more time.
I think it's going to be 21 seconds.
There you go.
You've still got to deal with the Knights' pressure, so you've got to get it in. You're probably going to use Micaiah Daniel as your outlet to get the ball. Then you want to get it right back to Ethan Daniel if you can and let him go one-on-one. You've also seen Silas Tate drive, so I want to inbound the ball, get it back to my 2 point guards, and I'm just driving all the way. I'm going to try and force the Knights to make a defensive stop.
Silver is checked back in, the 7-foot shot blocker. Now it runs through Ethan Daniel.
Micaiah with the outlet as expected.
A lot of ball pressure here. Daniel breaks it. Bad pass and a steal. Odom the basketball. Odom dishes, layup is good. Time ticking. A heave. And Northern Nash takes home the 6A championship here in overtime.
What a finish for the Northern Nash Knights, their first title in 58 years.
Well worth the wait for the pride of Rocky Mount and an impressive comeback here in overtime. We'll take the break and get some thoughts from the winning coach, Northern Nash. Dynamic overtime comeback. When we come back, we'll talk to Coach Henry Drake right after this. dramatic win for Northern Nash. 1-point victory in overtime, and here's the winning head coach.
Coach, congratulations. What an incredible game, an incredible finish. Tell me a little bit about your emotions after that game.
I don't know what to say. We've been battle tested. Our fans, our community stayed behind us. D kids played hard. I don't know, it's been 6 to 8 years, and we finally brought it home back to our community. We're so happy with the Red Oak community, just so proud of my boys and my players. I don't know what in the world to do. My family, our student sections, it's just been an amazing season. When we thought that we really couldn't get it done, we got it done. And I want to just tip my hat off to Kings Mountain. They had a great job. I mean, they stayed poised. We knew it was going to be a battle. We watched 4 or 5 games all week about what they could do. We knew they weren't going to give up, but we also knew we weren't going to give up. So congratulations to them being the Western Conference Regional Championship. They're young. They're going to be back. But right now, tonight is a Northern Nash night.
Tell me about your seniors, Christian and Jameer, hit huge shots in overtime. What they've meant to you in this program and how excited you are for them to get this title.
We challenged them, senior leadership. We graduated 9 seniors. We told them it's about time for y'all to show some leadership. And they did in the last 2 or 3 minutes of this quarter. And I can't say they made some mistakes, but they didn't get their head down, and they just kept battling. I'm so proud of the whole team. I'm so proud of those two, the way they just kept battling.
Coach, that was an incredible game. Just congratulations. Go enjoy it with your team and take that trophy. Good job.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Coach Henry Drake. 12 years in the making, and over 60 years in the making is the program, too. It's been a fun run. How about our final play of the game, Riddle and Riddle, or pardon me, the Akeem Anastapulu play of the game. Late bucket, and then this defensive steal sealed it. The final layup put the game out of reach, because that 3 did count at the buzzer. 61-60 on that defensive steal. And the final bucket puts Northern Nash in front for the title. It's time to celebrate with family. Why not us? I love that shirt. Hashtag have some fun. And then our Riddle and Riddle player of the game. For injury lawyers, Riddle and Riddle player of the game when justice counts. And a fun night for Quay Williams, who stepped up in his senior year.
Quay Williams was such a huge factor defensively, shutting down Ethan Daniel in that second half. Huge putback bucket right there. Incredible job. Player of the game right there. The senior, Christian Barge, Jameer Harris. They, all 3 seniors, stepped up to win this title for the Knights.
Great work for Northern Nash, who was down 6 in the 4th quarter, found a way to force overtime. Now we hand out trophies and medals to our finalists from both sides. Let's look at some of those final numbers from our Arthritis Knee Pain Center final stats. I mean, literally, the game was so tight, right? A little more 3-pointers for Kings Mountain. But down the stretch, those turnovers, Northern Nash forced enough to win it.
They did, and Kings Mountain, we talked in the game, they needed to stay hot shooting. They were over 50% in that first quarter. They really cooled off. You got to credit the defense of the Knights for forcing tougher shots, for forcing other players to have to shoot, because the Mountaineers didn't have their leading scorer available. But just an incredible high school basketball game. Both teams played amazing, and just a worthy champion, Northern Nash.
And our final Ready to Roll Garage Doors points in the paint. Ready to Roll call Raleigh's garage door experts today, Northern Nash. They win the game by 1, and they win the paint battle as well, which tells you a lot about this time of year. So we've handed out the trophies to the region finalists, Kings Mountain, who would win 1 point of a state championship. That late 3 gave the Daniel Cousins 38 combined points. They put up a great fight without their top scorer tonight with the injury to Nixon.
There was so many huge shots that the Mountaineers made, and every time they made a big shot late, the last 3 minutes in overtime, the Knights responded. They just a great job by the seniors, really, with Barnes, hit some big shots. Harris, obviously, the huge layup to put him ahead by 2. The steal and layup to put him ahead by 4. Worthy champion.
And now they go 1 by 1 through the championship roster to honor Northern Nash, first title since 1968. Can only imagine how Rocky Mount's bouncing right now, enjoying this one.
You can see the emotion in Coach Drake's voice and his face. He's an alumnus of the school. He's been teaching there since 2000, the head coach for 12 years. And here they're getting their chance to be recognized as state champions.
Time to hand out some championship medals. And that's a pumped-up Northern Nash coaching staff, enjoying every second of it.
They've got 20 players on the roster. And not everybody gets a chance to play, but you know how big of a factor they are in practice.
Jameer Harris had 9 big points, especially in that second half. And this was the guy that took over the game late in overtime.
Every time they needed a big shot, it was Barnes.
Number 3, Terrence Saunders.
Some of the reserves, including the senior Terrence Saunders.
Number 4, Amir Russell.
It really was a balanced effort. Barnes with 14, Williams with 11, Silver with 9.
Number 10, Quay Williams.
Number 1 seed, Northern Nash, rolls through the east side of the bracket.
Number 11, Quante.
This is just day 2 of the appetizer for a 4-day championship slate.
It's incredible high school basketball. If you get a chance to get to Winston-Salem, come out tomorrow, come out Saturday. The emotion on both sides, something to behold. Both teams in tears for different reasons.
Demanye Odom's final layup secured the title. Because there was a crazy 3 at the end, and that counted, right? So,
it did.
You know, all of a sudden you think 61-60. This game could have been dicey late.
Right.
Garrick Miller, one of the senior guards, getting his championship medal.
Number 20, Yuri Norbis.
The Knights were built around defense. Swarming defense held D.E. Smith to 39 in the regional final. But tonight, Kings Mountain scored, especially late, making big shots. And it was their offense that had to step up. Chris Silver, the senior, leading the state in block shots.
A revamped Knights roster, 9 seniors a year ago in this young senior class. It's time to ring them up. There's Treston Battle, one of the final seniors, getting honored.
The 1968 team now has company.
There's Coach Ashley Davis with his child.
Assistant coaches put in so much time and work scouting and prepping.
It was worth the wait since '68. Northern Nash can bask in this one now as state champs.
You can see how much the players love their coach and the fans.
The Drake chants breaking out for the head coach.
We invite you and your captains and the Knights, please come forward and get that state championship trophy.
Photo time with the captains. That picture's going in a couple of houses somewhere in Rocky Mount.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, your 6A champions, Nash.
4 seniors receiving the trophy.
Now for the most outstanding players from both teams.
Ladies representatives who attended tonight's contest. Presenting these awards, please help me welcome Army National Guard Representative Staff Sergeant Brown. First, we'll have our Most Outstanding Player awards for both teams. We'll start with the West. Kings Mountain Mountaineers, the Most Outstanding Player, powered by the United States Army National Guard. For Kings Mountain is Zero Ethan Daniel.
It's a hard pill to swallow for Ethan. He put up 22. His team put up a fight.
Congratulations, Ethan.
But Ethan did certainly his best, playing through a cramp tonight.
He's the second leading scorer, and when Caleb Nixon went out with that knee injury, he had to step up. He did exactly that, hit some huge shots. Tough consolation prize, but he was amazing tonight.
And now the Most Outstanding Player, powered by the United States Army National Guard from the Northern Nash Knights. It goes to number 10, Quay
The freshman. Sorry, the senior, Quay Williams, stepping up and winning the Most Outstanding Player.
Quay with 11 points, but his defense on Ethan Daniel in the second half was just as huge. Worthy of this award for sure.
But one more award to give out.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, one player has been selected as the Charlie Adams Most Valuable Player of this championship game in memory of the longtime former NCHSAA Executive Director. The Charlie Adams MVP, courtesy of Morgan & Morgan, for this 6A championship game is number 2, Christian Barnes from Northern Nash.
His bucket, the game winner, with 45 seconds left, and Northern Nash hangs on to win at 61-60.
Barnes with 14. Every time Kings Mountain hit a big shot, they went to him, and he delivered. A worthy MVP.
So there's the state champs in 6A. We want to take a moment to thank the wonderful sponsors who helped make this championship game possible. Riddle Injury Lawyers, Air Experts Heating and Cooling, Tatum and Atkinson, See-Through Construction, Ready to Roll Garage Doors, Arthritis Knee Pain, Akeem Anastapulo, Paramount Auto, Tip Top Roofing, Original Grills, and Engels Markets, and so many others that make this championship fun for the folks at home. That wraps up day 2 of our championship coverage. Tomorrow we get off and running with the 3A and the 4A brackets with a noon start all across the state. For Derek Jordan, Evan Budrovich, championship week continues at Northern Nash, the 1 seed. Their first champion since 1968 to close out this Thursday night.